Uh, let's start though, because some of this audience is going to know who you are. Who the heck are you? Let's start there.
Well, I'm Shapey. I'm a CEO at Qualabs. I'm also the one of the organizers of the Montevideo Tech community, and I'm Uruguayan. That's why I'm drinking mate.
What is mate for the uninitiated?
Okay, so mate is like our coffee, right?
Yeah,
So it's what we drink instead of coffee. We also drink coffee, but it's literally our coffee in practice. It's like it's a mix between green tea and coffee. So you drink it like tea. You pour the hot water here, and you drink it through the straw. But we use uh, the same leaves for a long time, and we share it culturally. It's like when you meet with friends, you kind of share the same mate, which is kind of disgusting, but it is what it is. And so it is. It's our way to hydrate, stay hydrated, and also stay awake. So mate is a very common thing in Argentina, Paraguay, southern Brazil, and Uruguay.
and you
So
kind of
every
just drink it all day, right?
Mhm.
So much like a coffee in North America, it's just a constant.
Exactly like coffee in North America, and but maybe the main difference is that we're very particular on which like mate leaves we use. Like
Ah,
everyone has their preferred brand, and you stick to it.
got
It's
it.
not any coffee. Like it's like particular coffee. Well, we have like our own mate. Uh, Like there are a few brands that everyone drinks because you get used to it when you're a kid, and then you keep it for a lifetime.
Got it. So you're building like a little bit of cultural muscle at a young age with it by
Totally.
brand allegiance. Now, we did not come here to talk about mate, but I knew that culture was going to come into it heavy, and we'll get into that more later. You mentioned Qual Labs, and you are CEO there. Who are Qual Labs? What are you doing in Uruguay?
Excellent. So we actually work from Uruguay, but work mostly for the US and Europe. We're a software engineering and product engineering outsourcing firm for media and media technology. So we focused only on our vertical, which is media and media tech. We work with the major media companies in the world and also work for the major media technology companies. Um, and we do work in, I'd say, all the software stack, client-side applications, platform engineering, DevOps, live operations, data engineering, of course, video workflows and streaming. I would say mostly focused on content distribution, but we
Yep.
do work end to end. And we have about 100 people in our team, mostly in Uruguay. We have a bunch in Buenos Aires, but it's like 5% of our team. And then we're based in Montevideo, which is no pun intended in the city name, which is
Just a
a
happy accident that it's a video and video.
totally. Actually, it's a very happy accident, and people didn't know that for a long time. They thought that we created our community inventing like a city name plus video, as every other video community out there. But no, it's Montevideo.
So what is the summer camp and the summer projects that Qual Lab started? I have known about it for a number of years. I was fascinated by it. You have been very generous in wanting me to come for years. And at my time at Microsoft, I could just never make it work. So I was excited that I'm not there and that I get to come this year. But explain for the others what exactly the summer project is.
So the summer camp started as an initiative to culturally bring our industry to all our teammates, to our
Mhm.
company, and with the excuse of why not escape from the winter in the northern hemisphere and come to the southern hemisphere, because it's going to be summer, it's going to be warm, it's going to be nice. Uruguay has San Diego weather, so we're by the ocean. It's warm, it's nice, it's sunny normally in the summer. So that was initially the excuse. It was mostly like a cultural kind of exchange, like come work remotely. But it started evolving over the years. and we had 3 people coming over, and then 6, 7 people coming over, and then the last year, it was like 17 people, but they started bringing their partners, their kids, their siblings. So it became more of a cultural and community kind of event that has
Mhm.
several tracks during that week. So the summer camp itself, it's a week in Uruguay that has cultural activities, that has community activities, that has a technical sessions and tech talks, that has open source contributions, that have also um, um, uh, we're going to have some workshops and some uh, like um, different activities for people to kind of choose their own story. Thanks for
Mhm.
sharing the website.
Yeah.
And also, we we added this year one particular track, which is the innovation track that I know we're going to talk about more. So our idea is to kind of create these week in Uruguay, this excuse to come very far across the ocean, or across the equator
Yeah.
to Uruguay, so that you can uh, share in a community event. And then we started working on open source projects, and the idea of the open source project was we should do open source contribution, assigning some of our own engineering talent to it, and that's on Qualab's expense, but also co-creating with others, and that's more like a hybrid experience. So they start in November and they go until February, and we get the community to propose projects that are a good way to contribute and learn. That's what we need for the projects.
So
Um,
I love this as a concept. Microsoft was always a big proponent of open source, and we would often try to open source projects that we worked on, or pieces of it that were appropriate. So I really appreciate that Qual Labs has sort of that ethic and mindset about it. What are some of the past summer projects that you've worked on before we get to this year's? Let's talk about what you've done in the past, and how does Qual Labs continue to use those, or how have companies that you work with used it?
Excellent. So they started a couple of years ago, and we worked on several projects and throughout the time. What we asked for that is that they needed to have like a tech sponsor. That means like someone needs to be like the champion for the project, and also contributors. And the topics we've covered so far include media over quick, server guided ad insertions, CMCD, um, CMAF. So we worked in all different uh, topics that made sense not only to contribute to, but also to contribute collaboratively. So I think what's different from other open source initiatives we've been part of is that we have like weekly meetings in which people from maybe 10 different companies, 20 different companies in the industry join together to discuss live what should we be building, why. So I think what's also very important there is that we can collaborate, we can co-create, and it's not just contribute, but also how we shape this industry together, and not like it's not my idea or yours, but our idea, what
Right.
we build. Yeah.
So last year, I know you worked on some mock work, and I think you have more this year as part of it. But I'm also working on one of the summer projects. We're doing one in collaboration with SMPTE, the Society for Motion Picture Television Engineers, and that one is really an AI agent, and a way of searching archives of content. The problem that I brought to you guys was one that I think a lot of media companies have, and frankly, a lot of non-media companies have, which is at some point you end up with this large corpus of text documents, whether they're PDFs, Word docs, pictures of documents, you've got videos, you've got audio assets, and invariably you need to be able to find and correlate information across all of those in some way. and you want to be able to ask questions of it. And it's more complex than just doing a simple search, because rarely is that going to capture all the different types of documents and all the pieces. So the problem I brought was how do we go about creating a framework that is agnostic of the models and agnostic of the data that is being searched, in order to first sort of process and get like some rudimentary tables and rudimentary data about the content. And then how do we successfully sort of do a variety of types of searches across that content?
Exactly, and it's very exciting. And also, I think what's exciting, not only what we can achieve, but also all what we're learning in through the process. And I think that's what we're trying to support here or encourage here is the like how you can innovate and create, contribute, but also learn at the same time.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be super valuable. Like I said, for anybody that happens to be already has a large library of material, I think it's super critical. But anybody that I'm sure there are a lot of people out there trying to solve problems like this, and hopefully the tooling that you guys come up with will help accelerate the work around that. Do you want to speak briefly around the media over quick real time project that's going on?
Sure. So we're talking we're working on different areas. MOQ is a very hot topic, but also not much has been built around it, to be honest. And we had two different proposals from two friends in the community, one from Mike English and the other from Kixlated. And the idea here was like, okay, MOQ is a hot topic. Why don't we go and work on different initiatives? So we took Mike and Luke's ideas and proposed 4 different tracks of work. One is that we're working on is like how can people start actually test end-to-end MOQ workflows. So what everyone has is HLS or Dash streams. How do they convert that into MOQ so that they can then send it to a relay and a player? So working on that, and the other is working on the player work, so that people can actually test end to end like an MOQ workflow. Of course, there's a lot to work on afterwards, and sure. I think there's also a thread on how to send from software like OBS, like stream directly MOQ, and I think they last week they decided to start working on that too.
Got it. Yeah, those sort of reusable pipelines are always super helpful, so that you're not constantly having to rebuild things up from scratch every time you want to start a new stream of some sort, or interject a new platform that you're sending it to, or other things. Cool.
Exactly. Cool.
Let's talk about the innovation track. So, all right. So we've laid the groundwork. We're all going to get together. We've got the JP, both CEO of Qual Labs and the cultural ambassador of Uruguay, who is going to teach us about the ways of life in South America. What are we doing at the innovation track? I have written a little bit about it already, but this was a thing you proposed to me, I think over maybe at Streaming Media originally when we were together in October. You suggested I go away and think about how we could collaborate, and this sort of came into being. So what's your vision for what we're going to do here? And then I'll jump in with my thoughts.
Sure. Thanks for that. And also thanks for accepting the challenge.
Like, please.
For us, it's
super exciting.
Having you in Uruguay, in particular in Punta del Este, which is my hometown, means a lot. To be honest, awesome. We were talking about that with Mika the other day. Like, when you came to our first Mata Talk a couple of years ago, we were already like, what? He's coming to our streaming, like to our session, and now you're coming to our country. So thanks. So what we thought about this year was we're getting different, let's say a lot of people are coming to Uruguay, different profiles, different experience, different backgrounds. It's not only video developers, but also operators, but also engineers, product managers, executives, innovators. So we have a bunch of different minds here, and we've learned from the summer projects and also from the Mate talks we do, which are these sessions in which we discuss a topic from different points of views, and said, why don't we try to use all those minds here to discuss together in a small room what are the current challenges in our space and how what are potential solutions for that. And that's what we envisioned. Like, why not like leave the this idea of a conference and a stage and the rest listening and be more active, be more like, okay, let's share with peers with different points of view on the same industry, and discuss like, okay, what's the future going to look like? What haven't we fixed yet, and how can we fix it? Because I think we have enough brain material in the audience to figure that out.
Yeah, so to me, this is a recreation of something we've done at trade shows for years, which is, to me, the most important meetings happen at night. We all get together after all of our daytime meetings where we check the box and visit either customers or potential customers or connect with each other. At night, we get together, drinks come out, the guards come down a little bit, and we talk about things in the industry. We talk about the problems we're having. We talk about the things that we've seen, the new technology that might be emerging. And invariably, it comes around to, I wish we were just doing it this way, or I wish this thing existed. And then we rat hole on that for a while, and we talk about it, and we come up with ideas. And some of the funnest ideas that I've had that have become full-on projects came out of those nighttime conversations and those nighttime talks.
Exactly. And the thing here is that it's going to be 2 days by the beach in Punta del Este. So it's not only the night, but the 2 full days. So we can have more than one drink or two.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's going to be a drink involved.
I'm quite sure about it. And also, why not barbecue? Why not like a more intimate space? Like what you're saying, like what we do at IBC, at NAB, and at any of those trade shows. And I think that's what we all love the most, to be honest.
Yeah, no, what I really want us to do is get a lot of different perspectives in the room from all across the tool chain. Everything from the beginning of content production through to the distribution, and talk about some of these future concepts. Particularly from my interest, it'll be a lot of how does AI interact with these different steps? Where is it getting used, and how is it getting used? Should it be in that area? To what extent is it? But then it comes down to topics that I've talked about a lot during the year. We always talk about making content more personalized, as an example. So therefore, should we treat it as more of a programmable object? In other words, are we creating a live stream right at the beginning, or are we really generating a ton of assets around a live video signal that then get packaged in real time much closer to the edge? That changes the way the media pipeline looks. And I want to talk about that with people and think about what's practical and what saves us time as part of the live signal, and what makes for a better viewing experience at the end, but also what makes for an easier experience for the people that are collaborating and creating it to come together to work on it.
Excellent. And that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's the right time to start discussing that. I think you wrote about it. Maybe it was NAB, or maybe it was before that. You said like, okay, the media pipelines are there, like they're already built. That's already working. What's next? Like, where do we have room for innovation? And that's part of the discussion we want to have.
Yeah, the way I sort of see the 2 days playing out is I think we can tee up a number of different ideas that have been out there, that I've wrote about, that you guys have talked about with me and explored. And we'll sort of talk about those as a group, but then I want us to be able to sort of go away separately, and people can sort of pick the areas of interest that they're most passionate about, and have a brainstorm amongst themselves around what are the right tools, what are the technologies that play into that area, what are the sort of the patterns that we've seen that we think are critical for it, and then make some decisions around what they think is a path forward for evolving that particular piece of the tech. And then we come back together as a group and really share those ideas across all of the different teams that have talked about it, and brainstorm sort of each of those pieces and where we sort of see it fitting in, so that we can go create this paper at the end called Designing the Next Layer of Media Tech, which I hope is really just a book of ideas that we can give back to the community, the same way that you guys are open sourcing the projects that we're working on. This will almost be like an open source white paper of ideas that any company could sort of go pick up and create a version of their own piece that makes sense for them.
Makes total sense. And also, and this is a good excuse for us, because we've realized that we have all these network and all these ideas and all this knowledge, and we want to be, we think we could be also a hub for the innovation to happen. And that's why we recently launched like this venture studio on media, which is Montevideo Tech Ventures, that Maggie is running, and from our team. And imagine if we could get those ideas and people that came over to the summer camp and find opportunities for new ventures. Like, hey, I want to be either an investor, an advisor, a co-founder of this idea. And we use all these collaborative knowledge and skills we have in the audience and try to create something together. So that, let's say that's a very long shot, but it is my dream, to be honest.
No, and I think it's a great one. You and I have talked about that before as well, and I think that's a critical area, is having sort of an incubator for ideas where people can come in, and if they're passionate about an idea, they can help find others to do it, or they can join someone else's idea and play a critical role in helping bring it out. And I think there's tons of areas. You know, you and I have spoken about. Like my big area of my big pain point is always discovery. Like that streaming broke discovery in a major way, because we have all these isolated platforms and none of the data plays nicely with each other, and that I really want to see somebody come up with a better way of sort of tracking and managing how we think about the content that we go find. We need a new version of the TV Guide out there for the modern streaming age. And there might be somebody that comes up with great ideas like that can be part of the innovation track or part of the incubator that you're putting together.
Exactly. That would be awesome. And I think it's a good time also, because what you were saying before of these, programmable media.
Mm-hmm.
So since the way media is being created is changing, like, why not think like content discovery is going to change because media is going to be different also.
Right.
So I think it's a good time to not just go for the next and yet another like recommendation engine or search,
Sure.
but yeah, way better than that.
Yeah,
Which is
thinking more broadly outside of an individual platform, how we do recommendation or how we do discovery overall, I think is a super interesting topic, and one that I hope we get to explore even at the innovation track. But I know that there's other areas in there. I mean, we'll no doubt be talking about archival material and how that gets repackaged and repurposed. I would imagine both live content and live production pipelines will come up a lot. Are there any other areas? Are there any topics that you've been thinking about that you want to make sure that we sort of cover in that weekend?
Well, definitely. I think we should include the the operational perspective of all
Mm-hmm.
these. I think like media operations is a big thing. Um, Also, what we're doing with all the data we're gathering. I think there's a lot of work being done with the data, not only QoE data, but also usage data, also like DRM data. Like there's a lot of data out there, but are we using it that data as effectively as social media is using it? Like,
Mhm.
can we compare the experience of using TikTok or Instagram or whatever with the experience of using like a streaming platform? I think the distance is yet uh, is big, and of course, monetization is a big topic yet. I think there's a lot that can be done in monetization yet.
There's been so many conversations I feel like I've been involved in for the last 5 years around ad tech and how antiquated some of the tech stack around advertising really is, and how it needs improvement, and how there's all these experiments that people want to try, transactional payments for things, being able to do sort of tie in when a goal in a football game happens directly to a jersey sale, or things like that. So I feel like that area is rife for disruption and rife for someone to come and improve it because so far everything's been these very isolated little projects, these little POCs that come together that prove it, but it's such a narrow, like everything has to be built up in such a way that there's no practical way to make it scale. In other words, the tech stack is too finite in order to cover a large range of media or a large geographic area. Like there's always limitations that come in. So I think there's ways that we probably need to figure out and solve how to improve it. And part of that is, how do we make it more interoperable with amongst tech vendors that are working in this space, so that the end customer can choose from a wider range of partners to deliver on the experience.
Definitely, definitely. So I think there's a lot to discuss, to be honest.
Yeah.
A
And I
lot.
know you guys have done done some early work around provenance in elements in the past as well. I suspect that will come into play because it sort of touches into multiple areas. It sort of heavily comes up in AI topics. It heavily comes up in sort of data sovereignty and data privacy elements that are there, but it's also related into sort of the security and rights management for content as well. Sort of where do you see it playing roles in the pieces that are going on right now?
Well, I think provenance is going way slower than needed, because I think all the AI tools are being way faster than we are at proving that content comes from the right source.
Yep.
So I think provenance is a topic that should be way more into the discussion. I know there's a big group, the C2PA, working on live video, but maybe it's not enough. I think we're not going fast enough, and um, I think it's impacting um, our democracy. If we don't go fast enough, I think it's gonna hit hard, to be honest. And so definitely, provenance should be part of the conversation. And like, I think there's an end-to-end thing about it and how to make it like reasonable, that um yeah, needs to be something needs to be done.
Yep. Okay, so we have plenty of topics for January then. I feel like we're going to have a weekend's worth of very fun conversations around all the pieces of the tech stack and the pipeline that we want to see modernize and we want to see evolve. And hopefully we'll come up with some cool ideas that we can share back with the community around it. If people are listening to this now, what do they need to do to potentially come to that, or even to just get involved in the summer projects that are going on? What should people be thinking about or be doing?
So the easiest way is to go to our website, the one you were sharing before,
Yep.
which is montevideotech.dev, and we can share the links afterwards with the innovation track information. And there's these action item here, the action button, apply to join.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna prepare like the email and send the email to us, which is summercamp@montevideotech.dev. Feel free to ask something that our summer campers always say about the experience is that uh, is about Agustina. She runs our like all the logistics for the summer camp, and she's gonna make sure that everyone's stay in Uruguay is amazing. So don't hesitate to ask. Ask her for hotel recommendations, like accommodations, restaurants. Where should I stay? Can I go to Buenos Aires for a weekend? How do I do it? Where should I go? Like there, if you have questions, ask, because she's gonna make sure that your experience is unique. So don't hesitate. Just contact us. Tell us if you're interested in participating in some of the open source project in the innovation track. We still have a few open seats.
Okay.
I think we have like at least 6 or 7 seats open for the innovation track. If we get more people, then we might need to think of a different logistic. But I think we still have room for many friends. So contact us, join us, and I'm sure you would love Uruguay and Montevideo and Punta del Este.
I'm super excited for it to come. I can't wait to be there and having the conversations. I can't wait to experience summer in January, which is always fun for us North Americans to get away and get a little sunlight. So I think it'll be very exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. And I really appreciate you guys offering to not only let me join in the fun of summer camp, but to contribute in a bigger way with by co-hosting the innovation track with you. I think it'll be a blast, but I think we'll come away with a lot of great ideas as well.
I'm sure about that, and it's us. We are really honored to have you here, Andy, and all the friends that are already confirmed. We already have like I think 15 people confirmed for the summer camp.
Awesome.
So I'm sure we're gonna have an exciting experience in this summer for us, and that you're gonna learn more about our culture, about our team, about technology, but I think most importantly to connect with the community, which is a fantastic community, all nice people, all great people, and you can see that because many of the previous campers became good friends, or started working together, or share a lot more. So it's a great excuse to share some time with the community.
No, for sure. I think it'll be great. And then I hope people both get a chance to come for it, and then those who are interested in following along and learning more, we'll be posting about it in on Qualab's LinkedIn page. I'll be talking about it regularly between now and when the innovation track happens on my Substack here. And then hopefully you'll have a chance to come back and we can reconnect with you and maybe Nico and others to talk more about the weekend and the week in January as we get closer to the date.
Excellent. And if you want to know more, this Thursday, in 2 days, we're going to have our last mate talk of the day. It's at 6 p.m. Uruguay time. You can find that information in the Montevideo Tech community meetup community webpage. And we're going to have Alex Zambelli, Casey Occhialini, Connie, Juan, David Hasoon, and of course, Andy, showing the conversation and discussed more about these topics that should be part of the conversation in the innovation track. So if you have time, join us on Thursday and join the conversation.
Awesome. I'll make sure we have a link to the mate talk in there as well. And looking forward to connecting with you again around that.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, JP. Appreciate it. And we'll sort of cut it short here. But anybody who wants to learn more about it can come learn more at the Mate Talk. Keep checking in on my Substack, and hopefully we'll see you in Uruguay in January.